Hey guys, I'm back with another color tutorial. So today we did this incredible lavender, silver, purple ombre. She didn't want it all over, so I know I have a hard time with this because I'm so used to doing all over color that it's hard to find the right placement. But I think I found a really good technique for you guys to follow for this if you have a client who wants something very similar. So first off, I'm going to start by teasing those tiny little sections. I did this in my sombre tutorial. This one's going to be just the teasing, not actually going back and highlighting, but I'm taking 1/4 inch sections and completely saturating them in lightener, and then I'm just packing them in these little packets. And her hair, as you can tell, is naturally really light. It's that mousy brown that perfectly lifts, so not all people can lighten to her level as easily as we did, because they probably have color on it or just naturally dark hair. So if your client doesn't lift to this perfectly platinum color like she did, that's why, and it's not your fault or something that you did wrong. Lavender, I'm sure as you have all experienced, is one of the most difficult colors to achieve. And only someone with her natural base, and also her hair hasn't been touched with color in a very, very long time. Of course she could reach this, but I hope this technique does help you get your clients to a really light highlighted look, so at least if they want just those pieces lavender, they'll get those. So I'm literally doing a brick lay pattern in the back, and I'm taking 1/2 inch sections of hair horizontally up, and I'm taking those 1/4 inch sections and teasing them pretty much almost 50% up into her hair, and then I'm completely saturating everything else. So she also didn't want it completely at her root. She wanted it to be a little bit more of a grown out look, so that's why I'm also teasing that much, because that's going to ensure that I don't paint too closely to the root and she doesn't get something she didn't want. So my rule of thumb, once I'm in the back and I'm going towards the top of the head, is to mix a fresh bowl of lightener as soon as I go above the ears. And I use 30 to start in the back with the pH bonder, so now I would mix 40 volume with the pH bonder, and that's what I would use once I'm above the ear, because I don't know if you guys have ever had this happen where you finish the back and then you bump the lightener for the front, but then all of a sudden the back little piece, it's like this little square on the top of their head, just does not lift or budge enough, and you almost have to over process everything else to make sure that piece or that section processes evenly. So give that a shot. It's really worked out for me, and that way you won't have to worry about damaging the rest of their hair or letting anything sit for too long. And here you can really see the type of section I'm taking. It's really small and thin, and then you can also see the way I blended it up into that teased part. That's what I'm trying to explain when I say to kind of just feather it up into it, and that way you'll have that seamless highlighted blend, so it's not just this random stripe coming out of nowhere. So now I'm moving on to the sides, and I'm using 40 volume with the pH bonder, and I'm doing the same exact pattern on this side. And just be aware of how close you go to the root, because the front you can especially see how close it is. So I made sure to tease and then just really feather it up into the root, because again, she really didn't want it to be exactly at the root like that highlighted look. She wanted it to look more blended and seamless. So don't be afraid to really tease almost all of that hair back and apply that lightener like 2 inches out from the scalp. And now I'm just going to repeat the same thing on the other side, and I just wanted to explain why I love this technique so much. Even though you're doing these singular like pieces, they all almost look like they were hand painted or even highlights, but you get such a better result as far as the amount of lift by teasing half of the hair back and then completely saturating it in the foils. And I've just had so many great compliments from clients when I do this technique, and I just think your clients are going to love it too. And please let me know if you try it and how it goes. I really would love to hear your guys' feedback and see what type of projects you're doing with this. I get this question a lot, and it's how do I get the tangles out when I do these teasing tutorials? And my two go-to tools are the wet brush and detangling spray. And the detangling spray that I really like is from Redken. It's called One United. It does exactly what it says it's supposed to, and it has 25 benefits for the hair, so that's always great to say to your clients. And the smell is absolutely amazing. It kind of smells like roses. But it's not too floral or too heavy. It's such a pretty smell. I really, really enjoy it. So I also get this wet brush you can get it from Sally's, you can get it from Cosmoprof, but this one has the boar bristle texture and also the harder bristles in it too. So it's like that double bristle. And then I always rough dry my clients before I do these high pigment colors. I find that the color lasts so much longer, and it also just attaches to their hair so much better when I actually dry them instead of applying it wet like you can do with most toners. So if you're going to do this on somebody with this high pigment color and you just spent all that time lightening them, take the extra 15-10 minutes and just get them dry, because this will really make your color stand out and it'll last so much longer for your clients and they'll absolutely love it. So now what I'm going to do is begin by taking that purple mixture of the lavender and the Pravana purple, and I'm going to start completely saturating the ends. And then I'm also just going to focus on the face frame section of her hair, because she wanted this to be more subtle and as natural as possible. And what I think looks really good is when you even do like a highlight on somebody and you make sure you have like that 2-inch root exposed. That's what I'm making sure is still there. So even in the front, I'm only taking that front piece and completely saturating it, but everything else from the root and mids all around, I'm leaving that completely exposed. But I am taking these tiny pieces of hair, just like the sections we did in the back where we teased it. I'm taking those and I'm completely saturating them in the purple color to almost make like purple highlights coming out of her hair. And I'm going to brush that in a second with the wet brush, and I'll show you how I blend all of this. But to begin with, just kind of use your artistic expression and pick pieces and place it where you think it's going to look like a natural highlight. And then don't forget to do the face frame part and completely saturate the ends, and you guys are going to be good to go. So here I am in the back, and I'm doing the same exact thing, completely saturating the ends, and this gives you a much better perspective of how far I'm going up with that saturation on the ends. And then I'm just going to start taking tiny pieces and really making those into like those little purple highlight type of deals. And if you have a hard time doing this, what I was doing was grabbing the lightened pieces from the highlights that I did previously and just following that as like a roadmap. So I think that'll really help you guys out and make that a little more clear. And again, you don't really want to saturate it too much up at the root. You can kind of just take your fingers and like blend it up into it so it's not just this really heavy purple line coming out. And now I'm just going to take my fingers and kind of blend everything together, like rake them through. And in a second, I'm going to grab my wet brush and I'm going to show you guys how I brushed all of this together and made sure everything was completely saturated. Now I'm taking my wet brush and I'm just basically brushing everything together, and that's just going to make it look more seamless, and you're also making sure that you get every piece of hair covered. If you don't have a wet brush, you can use a wide tooth comb, or any type of comb really would work for this. I like the wet brush because it just goes through the hair so seamlessly and easily, and it doesn't tug your client's hair or anything like that, or give you any problems really. So if you don't have a wet brush, definitely get one. These things are the best. So after I shampoo and condition, I'm just going to start blow drying her with my favorite blow dryer. If you guys watch my tutorials, you know I love my Elchiem. It's the best thing ever. It's a little bit pricey, but it's so worth it if you guys need to invest in a good blow dryer. It's my absolute favorite blow dryer I've ever used. But I'm just going to slowly start blowing her out, and as you guys can see, the purple is super vibrant and almost has like a silver metallic look, especially when you get to the root. What I did when I was shampooing her was I let the shampoo kind of go all over with that purple, because I knew just the shampoo with the purple was kind of going to tone her blonde. So I let that sit for a little bit in her roots. And you're going to see once I blow out the front how like silvery and ashy that blonde looks, and her root is almost a teeny bit darker, which is actually kind of cool. And I would recommend that if you guys are doing like any blondes who don't mind being ashy. You can totally let it sit with the shampoo in there and let it tone itself. I think they'll absolutely love it. But you can also see the way I place this in the front. It has those two face frame pieces, but then everything else is left out, and it really does make it look like kind of a natural ombre purple look. Like, it isn't just an all over hair color with purple, which is still beautiful too, but she was much more comfortable with this, so that made me really happy that this turned out the way she liked it. And she's been wanting to do this to her hair for, I think she said 5 years, and she is going on this awesome camping trip this weekend, and that's where I got these pictures for the thumbnail. She took, you know, the risk and said, okay, I'm going to do this, and I'm really proud of her. And I just think it takes so much courage to do something like this, especially when you have pretty much virgin hair. I mean, that's a big deal. So kudos to her, and I hope this tutorial helped you guys out. And when you get your next client who wants something like this, I hope this is a nice roadmap for you guys and you make lots of money. So thank you guys so much for watching. I'll see you on my next tutorial. Love you guys, and thanks again. Bye.